What fool thing is Johnny doing now? Well, here we go. Lee Hacklin, private investigator, in Bureaucratic Talk. Chapter 6, the story continues. Can you give me the exact location of that parcel George was trying to develop? Sure, why? I'm an investigator. We poke around. You never know what's going to fall out of a tree until you shake it. Hang on, it's in my filing cabinet. Here we go, QRS Sampson. He looked at the file, scribbled on a scrap piece of paper, and handed it to me. There's nothing there, because George was murdered. So you say. You didn't know George like I did. Some of us are masters of our own misfortune. That thumbtack wound up in George's lunch. Because of George, you're wasting your time. Maybe I'll see Swamp Thing or Man Thing. What? Are those cartoon characters? He made a dramatic show out of looking at his diamond-studded Rolex watch. I was a lot of things, but status anxious wasn't one of them. Thank God. What a way to go through life. Speaking of time, that's all the time I have for you, Lee. You're spinning your wheels, and if it's Sylvia who hired you, then she's wasting her money. Well, it's her money to waste. His voice went up an octave when he said, Sylvia. She was a very good-looking woman. I didn't see any family photos in Mayor Mickey's office, not that it mattered. You're in love with her, pal. Love is at the top of the list of murder motivations. We shook hands and I left. An hour later, I was checking out the lay of the swamp, so to speak. George was right. The public school was less than a mile away, and this was a perfect spot for a playground, or an ice rink, or a library, or many other things that add to our lives. That add to our lives. Poor George, he had a vision, and some bastard killed him for it. And the way he or she did it was particularly vile. The snow was mixed with rain. I was freezing, and I went back to my sweet ride. I sat, turned on the ignition, the heat, and then the radio. A woman was in critical condition at Albany General. She was the victim of hit and run. Her name was Sylvia Sampson, my client. McKees, if you have anything to do with any of this, you're going to wish you were Mayor McCheese. It's our first draft. Thanks for watching. Happy Sunday. Don't forget, God loves you. And so does Johnny. Cheers.